Hello and welcome to Learning from Lauren. I am Lauren, your host, and today I'm going to talk about discovery calls. Discovery calls are used by travel agents as one-on-one phone calls or video calls to talk to clients, but when they're first starting out to see if you both are a right fit. Now, these can kind of range based on what kind of travel agent you are, what you sell, and how you work. And it can be done in very different ways. It all depends on what you're the most comfortable with. Some people like to do everything through email with clients, and that's fine. I just find that there's a lot of back and forth sometimes with that and you don't get as great information. You could just set up regular phone calls with clients and just say, like, I'm just trying to get to know you and, things about you so I can better help you with your trip. This will also help you to get more comfortable with talking to clients and talking about yourself and what you offer. So, you have to kind of decide for every client, a discovery call is not necessary. I use them for some clients, but sometimes for repeat clients, I do not use them because they just literally email me, like, this is what I want. Or if a client will email me and say, these are the things that I want, then that's what I just do and get the proposal back to them and we move forward. So don't think like it absolutely has to be the same way for every client every single time, but you also want to be professional. You don't want to skip a step where you don't ask people all the questions because it makes it much harder for you going forward. So you want to just check out like what are those key questions that you want to ask someone, and I'll tell you some. Don't worry. But those are some of the reasons that people have some sort of call, or even if you had it on a form, your form would need to be a little extensive to best get a quote. But the biggest thing that I will say when trying to do a quote and doing the discovery call or talking to clients that you really need to pull out of them is what is their budget. Because people will be like, oh, it's, unlimited. People love to say it's unlimited, or I have so much money. There's nothing you could come back to me with, and that would shock me, and they're always shocked. So if they're not giving you a budget, that should be kind of like a warning sign, because most people have some sort of budget in mind, and people who are serious about having a vacation are serious about what it is. And the point is that you don't want to do all these discovery calls of people who are just trying to like fish for information and not do anything. And that is why I charge a fee. So I won't do a proposal until they have paid a fee, and then I will actually go and research and do a design proposal for people. So how it works is with this discovery call, whatever, you set up a time and either you're going to do it on the phone or you're going to do it through video. I choose to do it through video. I am more comfortable actually through video than I am on the phone. I think the phone makes it a little more awkward. So I really like doing video much better. I get a better response from people. Even if they don't have the video and I have the video on, I like that better. Just so I can be comfortable and get some information from them and go from there. And I don't start off talking about budget, but I do start talking about dates. A lot of times people say, like, oh, I'm super flexible, like whenever. Well, I can't look up, 400 dates for you. And if people are looking for the least expensive or the cheapest time, that's also kind of a signal for you that, like, okay, this person might not be happy with anything I do because they're always going to expect a deal or something like that. So I'll talk about that in a little bit too. So make sure that you get some real hard, fast dates, or if they say, like, I have this 10-day range and somewhere in there we want to do 7 days, then you can work with that. That's something that helps you. And then I kind of talk about like, okay, what if you were going to stay at like a chain hotel, like what chain would you stay at? Like Hilton, Four Seasons, Holiday Inn. That information will really help you because if those accommodations are what they're used to staying in, wherever they're going, you should be able to find a match for that so that you know what kind of accommodations you're looking for. You, of course, want to know who is coming, and sometimes it's not just the immediate family. So sometimes it's multiple rooms and multiple things, which is something that you need to figure out how you're going to handle if you do fees. And you want to make sure that they want it all. When you're doing a proposal, you want to show them transportation to and from the airport. You want to show them, things they haven't even thought about. Like I do a lot of Disney, so stroller rentals, food delivery stops or delivery, just food delivery in general. Like all these different types of things that might come up for a trip, excursions, extra tickets, things like that. I will put them all in, especially because I have a fee, so that they know that I have thought of everything when I do it. But you need to ask about those questions because sometimes they're like, oh no, we're just going to take an Uber, things like that. You might even want to research what it is to the cost of an Uber from where they're going to the hotel versus an actual driver that picks them up. So those are all things to think about. Now, when you're ending these calls, what you want to do is say things like, okay, this is how it works. So how long should a discovery call be? I don't know. It kind of ranges. I know that there's one agency that I follow that they are like a very luxury brand and they do 15 minutes and that's it. They have these set questions, they ask them, they work on them, and that is it. And at the end, they have a 1-minute spiel where they say, these are our fees, this is how it works. I will email you. If you fill this out and get our feedback, then we will work on your proposal and it's back within 72 hours. End of story. Other people do hour-long calls. I think an hour-long call is excessive, and I think it's not worth your time. If every person who ever inquires with you, you take an hour with them, that could take a long time, and you're not going to get every client that ever inquires with you. So you want to make sure that you set up something where you can end a call if you definitely know it's not going to work for you. You can definitely end a call saying, like, I hear what you're saying. This is a lot of information. Let me see a few things and I'll get back to you. So I'll email you soon. This is your email, blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. So that's for someone who you're not going to work with and you're going to email them back maybe the next day. Like, after talking to you, I don't think this is the right fit for me or us. And this is someone who might be a better fit for you and refer someone that, might be a better fit for them. Or you can just leave it that, we're just not a right fit. So thank you for your time and good luck finding someone. Now, if you are interested in this person, I would say about 30 minutes is a good amount of time to dedicate to a discovery call. And what I'm saying is you can always add more time if you think you need it, but there's always going to be those people, those budget people who want to suck you for every last little information and they're trying to get as much out of you as they can. And they're never going to book with you. They just want the information. So you have to make sure that you are sticking with like some sort of script that you have or that you are saying like, hey, I'll answer those questions after you book with me. Then we can go through those things. So don't be afraid to say like, I can't answer that now because I don't know what your trip is going to look like. So we'll have to go over those things once you've booked with me. So, and you could keep saying that over and over and over again. Like, I'm just trying to gather information and then you can let me know if you want to work with me and those types of things. So don't get hung up on the fact that you have to answer every question. This is not a quiz show for you to answer or to prove to someone that you know the answers to certain questions. This is getting to know each other, trying to figure out what kind of trip they want so you can design their trip. Now, at the end of the call, that is hopefully some of these calls, you really want to work with these people. So, how are you going to do that? You're going to talk about how your process works. And the process that you have needs to be very finite, very clear. And you can't be like stumbling over, like, okay, so after this, let me see. I think that I'll email you. Yeah, that sounds good. I'll email you. And you can let me know if you want to work with me, and then we'll go from there. Like, that's very indecisive. It seems like you don't know what you're doing and you've never done this before. You want to have like a strong presence, like, you know, all right, so this is how it works. I will send you the contract and the fee schedule so you could pay the fee. Once I have the fee and a signed contract about how everything works with me, then I will get working on your research and design, and I will design 3 different proposals for you that you'll have within 72 hours after you get after I have the signed proposal or the signed agreement and fee from you. And after that, then we can kind of talk about those things and decide, what is best for you. Now, you might decide that you want to do a follow up call when you're showing people your 3 choices, or however you want to do it. You just might want to do a follow up call with people. It depends on what kind of calls you're trying to do, to talk to people about what you have come up with for them. So it's you just want to have that very set script that you're talking to people on and that you're very confident with, and the steps, and this is what it's going to be. And then you also have it in your follow-up email. How I do it is about, I don't know, 10. I have a script that I have for, my emails after a client call, and I'll personalize it because sometimes I'm doing a few things during it, like when I'm taking notes. So sometimes I'm adding to that email at the same time, and I'll personalize that email, talk to them, and send them the contract and the link to pay the fee. And then, from there, I might send 2 or 3 more emails after that to remind them. After 3 emails, if they're not responding to me, then they've moved on to someone else, and that's fine. I still have their email. They can be added to my email list, but I do not. I don't like continue to like chase people like that, because if people are really interested, they will reach out. And sometimes people might reach out like 2 or 3 weeks later. I had someone who reached out an entire year later just by keeping them on my email list, for my monthly newsletter. So don't be afraid to do that either. Don't think like, oh, I didn't get that person, so that's it for them. Add them to your email list and see what happens. They might unsubscribe, but who cares? Like, what do you have to lose? You got another person on there, and just do it. So, those are how discovery calls work. I hope that helps you when you're planning on your discovery calls, or when you're starting to become a travel agent, figuring out like, how am I going to ask people questions? How am I going to get these clients? How am I going to talk to people? And I want to make sure that you understand that you don't have to do discovery calls for every client, and you don't have to do it right away. Sometimes it's scary for people in the beginning. They get really nervous talking to people, or having those discovery calls. But I will say, having a paper or an online form and just talking to people through email is not as personable. And people really like that personalization to their trip. So they really kind of like that, like, online presence in some way. So consider at least a phone call if you can't do a video call, and just try it. I know this is silly, but I say it all the time. There's a lot of things as a travel agent that you could practice ahead of time, and these discovery calls are them. Practice with your family, practice with one of your friends, practice with someone so that you can get a little better at them. Sometimes they can be a little choppy, but have that confidence during the call that you can do it. Before the call starts, just close your eyes for a second and say, I know this information. I am confident about this call, and I am going to show these people that I am the right person to work with. And then go into the call. And I know that sounds silly because you're just talking to yourself, but any little bit that you can help yourself to be confident is going to help you. So, all right, that will do it for learning from Lauren. If you are serious about becoming a travel agent, I do have a course that will is below. I actually just added some questions that might be good for discovery calls, so you might want to check that out. And I do have other free resources, so check that in the links below. And have a great day, everyone. I will see you later. Bye.